basically the issue of concern of social security plan for all Indians, which Anil Nair has correctly flagged for today, is health and education is an out-of-pocket expenses in India. And that is why we need a very strong social security plan, not only at the elder, when person becomes a senior citizen, but also at the young age. And that is creating a lot of pressure. So we have a lot of scattered schemes in name of food security or insurance or pensions for those who are not so well off, or I call it below poverty line or lower middle class. Where and the problem with India is that you have individuals 20 to 59 years of age who are increasing from 50% to 60% by 2041. So this is the time when they will be doing all their savings for their aging as well as their commitments during their youth. So that's why the pressure comes out very, very strong that do we have any social security plan where one contributes when one is at the earning age and reaps the benefits whenever emergency lands into them. We have comparatively a very, very poor structures. We have seen it during the pandemic. We have seen it when people were hit. And the now constantly low interest rates on the fixed deposits, or with the continuous continuity of that when it is going to happen, with instant job losses or cut in salary, which has also happened and exposed everybody the importance of having this social security. So in this scenario, my take is that there should be two kinds of things. For those who need hand holding, the government should not give a paltry sum of 200 rupees or 300 rupees as a pension for elderly people. There has to be a mechanized insurance-based system where the moment they reach age of 60, they get reasonable amount for the survival, which is supported by the food security and other insurance products. For the middle class and above, it is a very, very difficult thing. And therefore, I have one out of the box proposal that there is a need to have a 12% rate of interest scheme where the money is put with the government for at least 10 years. And that will enable people to earn a good rate of interest for their survival, for meeting out their expenses. And there can be an upper cap of, say, 2 crores of rupees for one household or something like that. Because for the simple reason why I'm talking about this is the people are not spending. If you have seen the results of the last quarter, the demand is not getting generated. And therefore, the growth rate was not what is being expected in the last quarter. So we want people to be confident and to spend. Because if they don't spend, the cycle of growth does not happen, then less jobs, then again this vicious cycle gets triggered completely. Therefore, it is very important to secure their spending in their youth, to meet their commitments of health and education, to meet their commitments of their lifestyle, and then also have a saving of a constant flow of fund in their old age. So I strongly feel in these two gaps, one, with the high interest rates product we must have in the market, it cannot be left to the speculative markets and savings and other things which are now people resorting to, or even crypto for that matter, for getting fast gains, which has happened because of the very low interest rates. So this kind of uncertainty will push people into more these risk short products, which may hit them badly and will sort of hit their lifestyle, will hit their security in their life. So therefore, one secured product of 12% rate of interest to government, it stands to the government interest because they get that liquidity, the demand increases and they spend. So these two kinds of products, I think, is a must for the social security plan, because this does not, otherwise we are heading for serious problem and this democratic dividend may become a liability. I'll take the first part as to where is the fund. Let me tell you, money is the least of the problem that we have. The other problem is we must put the food where the mouth is, and that is where we suffer the problem. If you look at it, in a district for development, we are spending not less than 1,200 crores per annum. That doesn't include salary or what Jacob mentioned, the pension. It is just for the growth. An average size of population of a district is around 15 lakhs of people. So if we provide top class of infrastructure, definitely we are going to create a lot of jobs. So that is very important where the money goes. And if you do a micro analysis, what we call it as a badly administered state, Even if I give a discount for the corruption, their utilization of this fund is 50%, 60%, right? So in the sense, they don't even have a capability to absorb the fund and trigger the growth. So that is the difference between a well-governed state and a badly governed state, or a well-governed district and a badly governed district. So it is very important that money is the least of the issue. Now, whether we want to earmark the part of the money as a government contribution and part contribution from the people, yes, it is possible in the organized sector, which is happening under the pension schemes. What Jose was talking about, these pensioners of the government, it was actually the philosophy behind this was a deferred salary. You know, the salary was fixed lesser than the market salaries, and this was deferred looking at their longevity, that it will be paid to them later in the life in the form of pension. So when the salary enhancement happened in a big way, then at that time from 2004 onwards, this has been stopped. So they are no longer subjected to this, and they are subjected to the contributory pension. Now, if you look at the contributory pension, I totally agree that it is only restricted to the organized sector. And during COVID, the amount of withdrawal you found under this pension scheme is something also an eye opener, because in distress they have deep dived rather, into their savings. So, in the sense, they have put the future at the cost of the present survival. And that is what has created a lot of problem. So, when we are talking about it, it is very important, because either we take care of the health, top quality health and education as is happening in the developed world, at the cost of the government, so that it does not become an out of pocket expenses. And if we expect a saving and earnings to spend on it, then definitely this kind of a guarantee is possible. Now that if our focus is on those 50% of the population who needs hand holding in terms of food security, in terms of ensuring that they get wage employment through Manrega or Urban Narega, whatever way we want to go about it, or they want to trigger the self-employments, or get into the business or skilling, whatever it is, that is where the government's funding has to come. But for the rest of them, India was known for saving. What Jacob is talking about, drinking with the inflation index, if you look at it, we used to have a huge amount of small savings, and it was a money available for the government to carry on their wage, their expenditure balancing, and that used to go a very long way. Now, even those schemes are having very low rate of interest, so people are not investing there, and they have gone more and more into the speculative markets. And that kind of a hit, whether Indian middle class will be in a position to take or not, the future will tell. Some may be very badly hit, some may not be badly hit, some may be able to overcome. Because if you look at the number of suicides which are happening because of the monetary reasons, that is also going up. So not any other reason, because of monetary issues. So these are the matter of concerns, because we don't have that inbuilt of the insurance coverage. So if we are talking of the universal sort of a pensioning, and we expect a contribution, then it has to be linked to the inflation index, as Jacob has said, so that we are able to give a good amount of money which is responsible, which will take care of their decent survival. Or to what I'm proposing, to a higher rate of interest of 12%, which is much above the market rates today. And even if we retain at 12%, at least 10 to 20 years, we'll be able to hold on. And then again, it may be revised as per the inflation and go up. So you will have these people, because I was really surprised to see many of the young middle class, or higher middle class, rather I'll say, who withdrew their children from good schools, who left their rented homes because they couldn't afford. One of the members of the spouse lost the job, or somebody's salary was cut, so they reduced their standard of living, or their priorities, or their spending, which is my major concern, completely. And after that shock, they have gone into minimalistic. So, in the sense, the demand is becoming low and low and low and low, which a country like India cannot afford. We want this cycle to continue. So, therefore, the strong social security for those who are in unorganized sector and those who are in the organized sector has to be two formulae, something, a good rate of investments for them, the amount which will be available to the government in terms of small savings at a higher rate of interest. Plus, of course, if we are able to come up with a universal product, nothing like it. Nothing like it. Because today, if we are talking about the food security, yes, we have achieved, but only on food grains. Our malnutrition figures are equally bad today, right? So in the sense, we have to do the balancing thing. And the fear is, this demographic dividend is becoming a liability. We have on streets this huge number of unemployed people who are unskilled, who are not employable. If I put it bluntly, they're just not employable by any sector, truthfully speaking. So what are we going to do with that lot? And how are they going to fend with themselves? Because the lands are becoming small, the productivity enhancement may be able to sail them through, or they will end up being vagabonds on the streets. So if we are talking of social security, which the policy circle has correctly flagged at the right time, that it is important for India to come up with a robust social security kind of a system when we are going ahead.
Sorry, ma'am, I had two short questions. One was at the start, you said it's got nothing to do with the money. Could you clarify? You're saying that it's a matter of the
Yes.
will?
Surely, it is a matter of the will and how you prioritize the money. So much of money is going to the places where it is not desirable. If you try to combine all that money, we can easily take care of this. Whether you call it as a direct benefit support or whether you call it as a futuristic saving or creating a kitty, it is possible. It is possible to do that because we are only 25 crores or 30 crores of households, right?
Okay.
So out of 30 crores of households, 25%, if I take them to be taken as a below poverty line, which needs complete household, the others will come up in the more contributory lot. And it is possible to do that. It is not that it is
But
impossible.
if it
And
is
money
possible,
wise, if you do the arithmetic, it is possible to take that kind of a money.
sorry to interrupt. If it is possible, why exactly is it not happening in your opinion?
It is because it is not in the priority list at all. Let me put it
Why
that
is
way.
it not in the priority list?
Yes, because we thought that people can fend for themselves if we give them food security. And when the rights agenda was very much in vogue, at that time, right to work, right to food security was thought as end in all. And these pension schemes were brought in for the old age, for scholarships for the children of people who are below the poverty line and everything. And we were under the boom of 91, 92 when economy was opening up. Nobody was thinking of a shot. So you had the educated people making their money and making their savings and able to sail through it. It is the COVID which has literally shook up the whole thing, and we have to reset our priorities.
But, ma'am, at the time that these schemes were put in, were we in a position to provide something like universal basic income or social security for all Indians?
Absolutely, because if you look at it, at that time when 500 rupees was thought of, many of the state governments added money to it and they're still adding. Like the southern states, if they are giving 3,000 rupees or 3,500 rupees, they are giving to these elderly people. And with DBT coming, it is directly reaching them. So pilferages has also reduced considerably. Since 2012, we are into DBT. So that has made the whole difference. The first time we got, you'll be surprised to know, I was involved in that. Manrega was the first one we put on the DBT because that enabled to link all the IT systems because the
Right.
transactions were too many, two variants and everything, and that is how the bridges were built. So if you look at it, it is possible to do it, and we
Right.
are having state governments who are topping up the money of the central government. Manrega also last year when the need was there, the budgetary requirement went up to 93,000 crores, which might have been reduced, but it's a demand base. So they will have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
increase if the
They'll,
demand
they'll increase
increases.
it. The
Yeah,
finance
yeah.
minister has
So
mentioned
that's
that
how it
several
goes.
times. Yeah,
So in the
she
sense, if need be, that provisioning is possible.
right.
Only thing is, if we do it in a systematic way instead of knee jerk, it is going to make a lot of difference. There is a lot of funds available in terms of cess. You have education cess, huge amount lying, which is yet to be unleashed. And you have for this NOFIN for electric connectivity, internet connectivity. So that is also lying. So in the sense, we are sitting on this pile of funds lying at different places. And therefore, when you ask a question of political buying, slowly it is changing that this kind of a strong social security network is a must. And that's why you are finding many of the state governments have taken that initiative and already started. And if the voting pattern starts going towards governance than other trivial issues, that is the way the political buying is going to happen. Because that is the biggest weapon anybody has got. And if the voting shifts into this as an agenda, or this care of the people as an agenda, or the priority of the people requirement as an agenda, then definitely you will have political buying for these issues. There is absolutely no problem on it. And it is not that we have a past history for this, because we came out from famine and then we went for the connectivity of the roads and quadrilateral schemes and everything, where, the priority went for infrastructure. Then we had opening up of economy. All these things have happened as more political buying, because the demand was there, and then, it just triggered off. So it is possible, and we have successful examples across the state. And I always say that any experiment done in the state is much well ironed out, because they remove a lot of bugs. If I look from the IT language, they remove all the bugs and it is all ready for replication for and adaptation by the other state governments. So we do have these good examples lying down, and we do try to brush it off, saying that their state GDP is better than other states, but other states is getting so much of grant and they are not using it. So those who are brushing it off, they need more of introspection than anything else. So it is very important that I think the time has come to have a political buying for this, because if we miss these years, it is going to head for to create a more problematic situation to handle the youth and to employ the youth as we go ahead. So I think we can't afford to delay this issue, and better we build the cat now.